So, sorry, my charger actually disconnected. I didn't even realize. So, yeah, I was answering that question about how was the timeline for Saskatchewan nomination program. So it depends. It actually depends on their backlog. So if they had so many applications coming in, that's going to prolong the time that they will be able to respond to you. And another thing depends on your career. So, for example, if you belong to the healthcare sector and you are a healthcare worker, most times they tend to respond to those people quicker than any other persons, because most times, healthcare workers are always needed. And right now, the Saskatchewan government just launched out two careers, that's agricultural and healthcare. So if you belong to these two and you apply, that's actually ongoing now. So I have one of my videos on my channel, which you can log on to, the province of Saskatchewan, looking for healthcare workers and agricultural workers. So if you belong to these two, if you belong to these two career, definitely, because they need you, they are going to do it and process your application ASAP, because they are in need of you. So the timeline varies. I've seen people who apply and they got their application done within 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, and some people, they are still waiting now over 2 3 years. They are still waiting. So you can't really predict these people. Again, I think most times it depends on their the career you belong to. So if you are in the career where they need you ASAP, so they are going to do your application as first. They are going to attend to your application first before they attend to any other person. So yes, it just depends. And honestly, there are different ways you can come by which you can come to Canada. You can either come as a student, and you can come through the express entry. A lot of people are very hesitant. They don't want to get into the express entry pool. Some people say, oh, how can I get into the express entry? Age is not on my side. If you are in health and you are into any healthcare sector, you are a nurse, you are a nurse assistant, you are a doctor, you are a lab scientist, you are anything related to health, and you are not on the pool because you think age is a barrier, you are a pharmacist, please get into the pool. Because the truth is this: sometimes some provinces might be in deadly need of that your career. They can be in deadly need of your career. Like sometimes they are looking for pharmacists, let's say in Saskatchewan, and you applied, and your age is just your age wasn't really favorable. Maybe you are in your 50s and you applied, like, and the Saskatchewan government needs pharmacists. Once a province nominates you, irrespective of whatsoever your scores are, you get 600 on top of whatsoever you score. So the issue of saying, oh, age is not on my side, I don't want to waste time. No, you are not wasting time. You are wasting time doing nothing. You are wasting time doing nothing. When you put in the application, what I always ask people, when you put in application, do you cook for them? Certainly you don't cook for them. Do you pay bills on them? No, you don't pay bills on them. So do you do anything for the application that you just put forth? You do nothing. So why don't you just try it? If it works, it works. If it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. So stop saying, oh, it's not going to work. I don't have what it takes. I'm not a health worker. Oh, sorry, my years is 50 years and above, and I heard that if you are 50 years and above, you can't get it. Don't listen to what people are telling you. Everybody's covenant of mercy is not the same. I might be 50 and I will apply and I will not get. Another person who is 50 that have all year on their head, can apply and they will get it. It just depends. Like the Bible said, the race is not for the swift, neither is the battle for the strong. He said time and chance happens to them all. So sometimes you just do what you have to do and leave the rest to God. I've heard people say, oh, can I apply into the express entry? Yes. What you need to apply is, one, go and do your credentials assessment. If you want to travel abroad and by this time you have not done your credential assessment, you are not preparing for your NCLEX, my brother, my sister, you are not ready. Get your credential assessment going. Apply to WES. WES is very good with their results. Most times they give you commensurate, like comparable results that is equivalent to Canadian education. So you want to push that through first because it can take some time for your WES to be completed. So put in your application, apply to WES, do your credentials verification. Once you are done doing your credentials verification, the next thing you want to do is to study for your NCLEX. Do your NCLEX, have your result, then enter the pool. You don't need anything. Just the only thing you will spend money on is your WES verification and your NCLEX. So once you have those two things, go online, just type express entry, type it on Google. You see all this data you are using to do nothing on Facebook, invest it in your dream of wanting to travel. Put it on Google and just put express entry. Once you put that express entry, let me even put it so that I can put it on the link for you guys. So express entry Canada, they'll tell you how it works. So this is the link for express entry. That's the link. So you go on that, just go on that, you create a profile. After creating a profile, the next thing is this. Then you just patiently wait. Yes, sometimes you might not be selected, other times you might be selected. But once you've created that profile, all you just need to know is to do the wait game. And who knows, a province that is in need of your career might select you. And once they select you, like I said, no matter what you scored before, once a province selects you, then your score goes high. It pops up to like by 600. Whatsoever you had before goes up by 600. And once you get that, that is you selected. So age become insignificant for those of you that are writing off yourself. You never even start fight, you don't defeat yourself by yourself. So for those of you that are saying because of age I can't do it because of age, please get in there first. Try your best. Once you are done with trying your best, then you know that, oh, okay, I cannot give up. I've done everything I could do. Not just listening to what people are saying. Get your WES done. Get your credential assessment done. After you've done that, do your IELTS. Those two things, they are your first step. So once you have these things, click on this link I put in here. Then go and create a profile. You don't even need anybody to do it for you. You don't need anybody to do it for you because the information that you want to give to that agent is with you. So what the agent just did is to buy data. Buy data, go online and just go ask Google. And then once all this is done, the next thing is they collect money from you and they do nothing. So the things you could have actually done for yourself, you now go and pay millions to do it. And sometimes these people do nothing for you. The only thing you are paying for is your inability to just type what you want on the system. So don't get, don't waste your money. You don't have to waste your money. Just go online, click on that. That's one way. You can come as a student too. I know Canada is getting really rough now for students, but people are still coming as students and they are still getting their permanent residence. Again, it depends on what you study. And if you ask me, what do I want? What would you advise me to study? I will advise you to study health-related course if you are coming to Canada with the intention to stay. Health-related course is what I will advise you to do. As small as CCA or PSW. CCA means continuing care assistant. So they are just like assistant to nurses. And most times, because they are always very short of them, most times before students finish their placement, they are already employed by the employer where they went to do their placement. And once you get that employment going, you need certain hours. When people say go and study in Canada, you just get paper. It's a process. So that's what you also want to know. It's a process. It's not just, okay, I just come to Canada, I just finished study, the government of Canada will just send my permanent resident to me. No. If you finish your studies as a student in Canada, you need a job in that your career. You see, what you came to study in Canada, you need a job in that field. And in that field, you must have worked a certain hours, I think about 1,000 plus, before you will now be able or be eligible to apply for your permanent residence. So when you finish your school, they give you a work permit. So during that time where you are working, where you have that work permit, they expect you to get again a job in your career of study, not just any career, in your career of study. So while you are doing that, you're getting your hours. So once you get your hours, then you now be eligible to apply for your permanent residence. And you must also have a full-time job. You have a full-time job in your career. You have worked about 1,300 and something hours. Then, of course, you met all the other requirements. You have your certificates to tender and all those things. So after you have acquired all those things, that is when you now apply for your permanent residence. So permanent resident, when you come to study in Canada, does not just come to you like that. You don't just finish working and studying today and tomorrow you get permanent resident. It's a transitional phase. You do your studies, you get work permits, and within that 1 year, especially if you are studying for 1 year now, you get 1 year work permit. So you want to really do a course that you are sure you can get a full-time job within that 1 year. Or else, if you don't get a full-time job within that 1 year, the stress will be too much for you. You are looking for how to go about it. You are running around scatter, and you can't get a place. And sometimes, if your work permit expires and you don't get a full-time job, you'll be required to go back home. So that's why I strongly will advise care job, healthcare job. If you have a healthcare background, it is fine. But if you don't have a healthcare background and you have the intention to care for people, you must have it too. Because doing healthcare job is not easy in Canada, because it's not the way some other people do it in other countries. You have to be very diligent in your work. So if you are just going to do it just to get paper, you don't have a passion for it, I will not advise you to do it, because they might get you irritated and you do what you're not supposed to do. Get arrested, and then you can be deported. So back to square one. So if you have a heart to care for people, and you know that you thrive, you are very patient, you are tolerant of a lot of things, you can go ahead and do that. Apply to that, because most times before you finish your placement, you get a job in that field. So that's another way. And how do I apply? I've heard this question over and over again. How do I apply as a student? Very easy peasy. You go to the IROCC website, that's Canadian Immigration website. Then once you get there, you put students. Then it pops up a form, you know, that's for your visa. But before you get your visa, you want to apply as a student. And like I always say, Canada is a big country. It is not just the British Columbia or Ontario that makes up Canada. There are different places you want to go to study. You know, you want to look at the fee. How much do I pay? What's the difference between the fee I will pay in this local province, as people we call it? And now we they say local province, we like and like that. So local provinces, as they call them, they were enjoying the local provinces anyways. So like Saskatchewan, Manitoba, Alberta, Newfoundland and Labrador, New Brunswick, Prince Edward Island, and some of all those ones. So what you want to do, you want to check where do I want to study, and that will be determined by how much is in your pocket. So if you want to study any course, you want to ask yourself, which province am I going to? If you are going to the province of Ontario, get yourself ready. Housing can be very expensive, but full stop, very cheap. So you have to choose your battles. Am I going to just go there because of food, or is housing very important to me? So once you're done with all these things and you are able to determine where you want to go to, then you start the search. Again, Google is your friend. Go online to Google and just ask which school, or for example, if I want to study permanent PSW or CCA, which is PSW is personal support worker, and CCA is continuing care assistant. So if I want to study the course CCA, I just put on Google which is studying CCA in Canada. So a lot of schools will pop up from different provinces. You want to check their prices. You want to check their prices depending on your pocket. If your pocket is big enough to go to Ontario, by all means, Ontario is a fantastic place, very multicultural in nature. You get like diversity is huge there. So if you have what it takes to be in Ontario, they have fantastic schools in Ontario that are doing personal support worker or any course of your choice. There are loads and loads of colleges. There are loads and loads of universities in Ontario. So you put that in and off you go. So once you find the school, my people, you don't need agents to apply for you to any school. On the school's website, you will see the application form. Apply to the course of your choice. Apply to the course of your choice. And once you get there, once you apply to the course of your choice, then they will get to you. And once they get to you and they give you an offer, they will now ask you to pay. And once you have made your payment, the next thing is to apply for your visa. So you see that you don't really need any immigration officer. You don't need an immigration officer to apply as a student, to create a portal for express entry. You don't need them. Yes, and some people, they also get job. I told you that some people, they get job right from their countries of originality. Like I've had people come straight from Nigeria with job offer. How do I go about this? Go to a Canada job bank. Yes, let me put it here. So this is one of the websites where you can also put to find job. So this is Canada job website, Canada bank job website. So you can put your job in there and search. Who knows? Some people say people are in Canada and they've not gotten job. It depends on how the person look for job. People are still in this Canada and some of them have 4 jobs and they are running from jobs. And people are here, they don't have a job. So it depends on who lives in Canada and what they are doing and how they are searching for jobs. There are still jobs in Canada. And there are still people who are willing to bring you from wherever you are abroad and work for them. It just depends on your career and it depends on the need of that company. If they need you, they will send for you. So these are some of the questions that I have been asking. And some people ask, can I come to Canada with my family? If you are coming as a student with the new changes, immigration changes or immigration law, you can't come to Canada with your spouse immediately to work, but you can come with your spouse as a visitor. If you have the plenty money and you want your spouse to be here with you all throughout the time that you are studying, is okay. But if you don't have the money, what some other persons will do if they don't have money, it will be like a sacrifice for the period of time your spouse is studying. So the period of time your spouse is studying, you won't be able to come here and also be working as it used to be. So if your spouse is studying, then you are either in Nigeria getting yourself ready, or wherever you are in any part of the world, getting yourself ready, hoping and praying that your spouse after school and she gets a work permit, or he gets his work permit, and during the time of his work permit he gets a job immediately. Not just a job in his line of career. So if he gets a job in his line of career, then he or she is able to achieve the 1,300 and something hours for PRO, and then they apply, then the person cannot apply for you as a family. So now you are looking for a period of 2 years sacrifice to be away from your family. So once you are done, you cannot apply for everybody's PRO. That's if you are doing just 1 year course. But if you are doing a master's, which is highly recommendable, if you are doing a master's, like you have what it takes to go for a master course, then it is highly recommendable, because if you are studying a master's, you can come with your spouse and you can come with your children. So therefore, your children are studying while you are studying. Your children will be studying free of charge. And you, although you are paying, but it's like buy one, get one free. Because your children are studying for free, and you are studying and you are paying, and your husband or your wife is working. So it's more profitable now to come in for a master's. If you, the wife, is the one that is eligible for a master's, then apply. If your husband is eligible for a master's, then he applies. So that way, you, the spouse, you are working, and your spouse, while your spouse is studying. And if you have kids, even better for you, your kids are jelly, studying for free. And by the time you are done, God help you, you get a job. Then you can stay if you want to stay, or you can go back if you want to go back. And another thing I want to measure is that, you see, your spouse working, is another good thing, because if your spouse works for 6 months in some provinces, like this province of Saskatchewan, if your spouse gets a full-time job in the province of Saskatchewan and work that full-time job for 6 months, he can also apply for PRO. So you see that coming in for masters is better now, because once your spouse starts working, from the very day one he starts working up to 6 months, once he starts working from day 1 to 6 months, full-time job, after on the 6th month, on the completion of that 6 month, by the 7th month, he can put in for your PRO. So let's assume you were lucky enough, you came to Canada, your husband just got a job and your husband started working, and then you are studying, then your husband cannot apply for PRO. While you are still in school, your husband is not a permanent resident. So your husband cannot add you people to his own application list for permanent residents. See how the thing works. So coming in as a master's holder is good. And your spouse, you have to go to small province that are looking for people too. Saskatchewan, we are looking for people. Come to us. Yes, so your spouse can work for 6 months and then have the eligibility to apply for permanent residence. So once he applies, then he can now put you in as his own dependent. Remember, if you came in as a student and you put your spouse in as a dependent, then your spouse came in because he is entitled to an open work permit. So he gets his work permit and he starts working as a full-time worker in any company. And then after working for 6 months, he cannot be eligible to apply for the PRO that you would have worked for, study for another 2 months, another 2 years. Remember, your children will also be going to school. So it's a win-win, for everybody in the family. So I hope that answers the question of, can I bring my family? Yes, you can bring your family if you are doing a 2-year course and above. But if you are doing a 1-year course, you can't bring your family anymore immediately. You can only bring your family after you are done studying and you have applied for your work permit, and your work permit is now able to bring give you the room to apply for your permanent residence. So yeah, that's that. And another question is, can I convert my visitor's visa to work permit? The answer is no. On the 28th of August, the Canadian government put an end to that opportunity because people abused it so immensely. So no more. Don't let any agent deceive you. Don't let them tell you, oh, if you come to Canada, you can change your visitors visa to work permit. It's no, not anymore. Not in Canada anymore. It wasn't even that easy. People were just frauding people through it. And so the Canadian government has finally rested that case. At least no more duping from that angle. Just for your information, don't fall victim. The Canadian government does not recognize the transition of visitors visa to work permit anymore. Okay, so there's this Saskatchewan nominee program that just came up for agricultural sector and healthcare sector. A lot of people have been asking me, how do I get a job? If you check the video I did on that YouTube, that is where I spoke about that program. There are job sites where you can apply to. Do not let anybody come and tell you, I have a job for you in Canada, unless you speak to the company by themselves and you look for somebody to verify it for you, don't fall victim. Don't let people take your hard-earned money. Things here are done in a very legal way. If you don't do it legally and you get caught and you be repatriated at any time of your stage in Canada, it doesn't matter if you've had your citizenship. The day the immigration officer discovers that what you came in with was illegal, was forged, was scammed, they will rip you off that citizenship. Remember, you are not a Canadian by birth. You are a Canadian by immigration. So once they see any contour, any GBT, any kind of fraud in anything that you presented, that you used to achieve or attain your status, they will derobe you and they will remove that status from you. So you want to be very careful how you trend so that you don't trend wrongly. Okay, so yeah, I don't really know of any other question. A lot of people keep saying, please, how can you help me, ma? Please, how can you help me? I am not an immigration officer. I'm not immigration government. I am not an agency. I'm not a registered consultant. I'm not even a consultant. I'm only doing this for my own free will. And somebody said, yes, but YouTube will be paying you. Yes, YouTube will pay me at some point. But as I am now, I'm not receiving any money from YouTube. So I'm doing what I am doing just for free because of what I saw happen right here in my town where I live here, where two guys were stranded by their own fellow countryman. You heard me right, their own fellow countryman. So that's when I decided to start doing this. So please, I don't have a job to offer you. Yes, I don't have a job. I don't have agency. There are really not so many agencies here in Canada bringing people into Canada. So when people tell you that they are recruiting agencies to Canada, please verify. I don't have all those links. But if I do have them, I will post them up. So the only way I can help you is to bring this information your way, educate you on how not to get into the trap, how not to get into being frauded. That's my only way I can help you. I cannot give you a job. I cannot facilitate the process of your application. Neither do I have any link with immigration officers. I never reached that level. And even if I do have a link, it is a process. And because you know anybody there, will not facilitate any process. So do your things right. And again, every information that I give here is from my own personal research. So it haunts on you as an individual to verify and make sure that my information is correct. And that's what you should be doing with anybody who brings information your way. Don't just accept every information. Verify and make sure that they are true before you can put your hard-earned money into it. At this time, we're coming to the end of the questions and answer time. This is my first question and answer time. Although it was poorly attended, that's okay. Cheap things, people don't really appreciate it. If I said, oh, you're going to pay maybe $100, now everybody will run down because people think that when you pay for things, that is when it is more authentic. And that is why a lot of us are falling victim, because we want to hear things that are not real. We want to be bamboozled. We want people to tell us sweet things that are not real. And then by the time they finish with us, they say they have educated, they have done, don't worry, you get your visa next week. Even the immigration officer does not even know when your visa will come out. So, but this is unfortunately and sadly what a lot of us want to hear, you know. So I have done my bit, and the best I can do is to educate you. So your own now is to go and do what you have to do with it. The information has been passed. It is now left on you to go and do what you have to do. Remember, there is no third party in visa application. There is no such thing as change of visitor's visa to work permit anymore. Age is not a barrier to your immigration. If you want to migrate from your country of originality, age is not a barrier. You can do it at any age. As for the express entry, if you are a healthcare worker and you are still saying, oh, age is my problem. No, age is not your problem. You are your problem. Get your things done. Go get your works done, your credentials verified, and do your IELTS and jump on the express entry pool. Another thing that I almost forgot is, if you know how to speak French and you are still in your country of originality and you've had a dream of coming to Canada that has not been actualized, you are the problem to yourself. Go and do your credential verification and hop into the express entry. I think early this year, the Canadian government gave 7,000 PRO invitation to anybody who could speak French. So if you can speak French, get on that express entry. Get on that express entry and utilize what God has given to you. So it's now 12:14, and thank you for the few people that came. I hope you learned something. And if you didn't and you still have any question to ask, please put it on the comment section, and I'll be more than happy to reach out to you personally. It's been an experience. This is my first live stream. It's been an experience, and as you can see, at a point it went off. That's one of the sacrifices you pay for being inexperienced in anything you do. So I'm going to archive this and look back to it when God starts blessing me. And thank you for everybody that showed up today for my first video. I want to appreciate. And if you still have any further question, please don't hesitate to put it up there, and I'll be more than happy to assist you. As it is now 12:15, I've passed my time by 15 minutes. I'm going to say a very big thank you once more to everybody that showed up today. And for those who couldn't show up, maybe next time, who knows? So thank you so very much. If I didn't answer your question, sorry. I just did the few that I had. And that was the reason you should have come online, so that you can ask your question and I will answer it for you. But hey, there's always time. This is just the beginning of my live stream, but not the end. Once again, thank you so very much. I appreciate your coming. Enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye.